Barkskin is one of the most awesome damage mitigation cooldowns in the game. Aside from its ability to reduce damage by 20% for 12 seconds, it can also be used while stunned, frozen, incapacitated, feared, or asleep. Using this can really make life easier on healers during times of large AoE damage on the group. Survival Instincts mitigates more damage than Barkskin, but it can only be used while you are able to cast normal spells still, and has a whopping 3-minute cooldown. I still suggest using this ability as often as possible to help healers out, but try to be smart about it and use it during the time where you'll need it most. Nature's Grasp is pretty situational in PvE, but when you can use it, it's amazing. For 45 seconds, you'll have 3 times where if an enemy attacks you, they gain the Entangling Roots debuff. What is also great about this is that unlike the normal method of applying Entangling Roots, you can have 3 targets rooted by this spell simultaneously. Entangling Roots is, in my opinion, one of the most underestimated druid abilities in the game. I see so few druids using this that you might start to think all enemies are immune to it. This is simply not the case. Many adds in boss fights can be snared by Entangling Roots. This includes while raiding. Innervate can really make or break a fight. Even though as Feral you won't have very much mana, making 20% of it seem small to your healer, that 5,000 mana or so can help your healer get to their next mana regen cooldown. This should be on your bar. Thorns is a buff that you can put on any player in your group that makes anything that attacks that player take damage. This can really help out during times where your tank will be handling many adds. Tranquility is a great spell to have ready to go as long as you have the Nurturing Instincts talent. As of 4.01, while wearing full item level 346 gear, this spell does over 200,000 healing as Feral in a 10-man raid group. This is at least 20,000 per group member. Your healers will love you for using it during times of massive AoE. Stampeding Roar can really help out whenever a quick move has to take place. Use this spell to help your fellow melee group members and tanks get away from a boss about to do an AoE effect. Use it to help the tank move to a boss quicker. Hibernate has very few uses in PvE, but many players don't realize that it can also be used on Dragonkin. I'm not sure if you've been playing Cataclysm lately, but there is an abundance of Dragonkin around. Just make sure to let your group members know that any damage will break Hibernate. Cyclone is a spell that has a lot of uses, but can also be irritating to your other group members. This is because if you Cyclone a target that they are trying to kill, it will be immune to all damage. I recommend using Cyclone to stop an ad from attacking a non-tank. It is easiest to cast Cyclone when your Predatory Strike ability procs from using a finishing move. This will make it an instant cast and free. The add-on that makes icons appear at the top of my screen is called Event Alert. Event Alert is a great add-on for keeping track of things that proc from spells and talents. Once an ability procs, the icon with a timer appears and a sound goes off. You can customize what procs will appear, where they will appear, and what sound will be used when a proc occurs. I like using this to keep track of Predator's swiftness primarily for my instant cast nature spells. The add-on that allows me to customize where my hotbars go is called Bartender 4. Since druids have so many spells, I end up using 1 through equals on my keyboard, and with those I also use shift and control keys to add 24 more possible actions, for a total of 36. You can see my spells laid out to the left of my minimap. The bottom row is 1 through equals, above that is 1 through equals with shift pressed, and above that is with control pressed. To the right of my minimap, you'll see a 4x5 grid of spells. These spells are bound to my number pad on the far right of my keyboard. This is an idea that I took from the music notation program known as Sibelius. If you look at my hotbars, you'll notice that whenever I use an ability with a cooldown, there is a timer over the icon. This is applied with an add-on called OmniCC. The add-on that I use to keep track of how much damage I do is called Recount. This can also be used to analyze what spells missed, crit, and what spells are contributing what portion of your damage. This can also be used to keep track of things like healing done, interrupts, and how you died. My unit frames have been changed with an add-on called Pitbull 4. On the left, you'll see my information, with the buffs above and the debuffs below. To the right of that, there's my current target, again with buffs above and debuffs below. This is a highly customizable add-on, and because of this, would take a whole nother video to explain. Luckily, someone has already done this. Probably the most important add-on that I use is called Tell Me When. Tell Me When is a display of spells, buffs, and debuffs that you can customize in shape and size. Here you will see me keep track of the Fairy Fire debuff, the Mangle debuff, the Rip debuff, the Rake debuff, Tiger's Fury cooldown, Berserk cooldown, and Savage Roar buff on the large bar on the bottom. The upper and smaller bar shows my Entangling Roots cooldown, Skull Bash cooldown, Nature's Grasp cooldown, and Thorns cooldown. To the right of the Thorns icon, the main debuff will appear when I use it on my current target. You can achieve a similar heads-up display of important feral spells using other add-ons, but this one works well for me. As Cold Bear once put it,
Feral DPS players have to keep track of combo points, energy, your health, the boss's health, who's low on mana, who's dead, FFF, SR, Mangle, Rake, Rip, Clearcuts, TF, Berserk. And that's on top of cooldowns, moving out of void zones, not pulling aggro, attacking the right target, ads, listening to calls over event, making sure you're behind the boss, running out, running in, etc, etc. John fucking Madden. Blizzard failed you. What you need is a more effective, more efficient way to display all this information.
some of the other add-ons that I'm aware of that can help you do this if you're not a big fan of Tell Me When are Need to Know, Bad Kitty, and Druid Focus. Wowhead.com/talent is an excellent resource for figuring out how you want to spec and glyph your character. Each choice you make alters the URL at the top of the page, and you can copy the link to save it or share it. The Elitist Jerks website is one of the best resources in the WoW community for in-depth class mechanics and theory crafting. You just go to the forums, scroll down to the class mechanics, you'll want to click on Druids, and then you'll scroll down. There's different categories. We're going to go ahead and click on Feral Cat Cataclysm Release. In this, they've got a great table of contents with anchors to quickly skip to what you want to find. You can scroll down. They've got tons and tons of useful information here. All tested, all proven. They've even got great hovers so you can check out the items that they're suggesting to you. A lot of great information can be found here, and it's frequently updated. Other resources available online include fluiddruid.net, which is an amazing blog all about druids, and coldbear.wordpress.com, which is where I found the majority of my information when I started out in Feral. He's got an amazing video about as long as mine, but with twice as much information. It's a little bit out of date, but definitely worth checking out. The majority of the information is still very good. Unfortunately, Cold Bear isn't playing WoW at the moment, but if he starts playing again, his videos and his information will be some of the best you can find anywhere. If you stuck around this long in the video, you're pretty committed to being the best Feral you can be. Hopefully, you found some of this information useful. Please check us out online at twotimegoodfighter.com for more information. Thanks for watching, guys. Have fun.